Today's episode is all about keeping more of your money instead of handing it to the IRS. Micheal Aguas is here to walk through the fastest, simplest ways to reduce your tax bill starting right now. No fluff, just straight answers. What is the simplest step a business owner can take today to reduce their tax bill?
So, what I always tell people is everything begins with a coherent overall strategy. All right. So that way your steps are not random. Like, oh, I heard this works. I heard that works. Come up with one strategy that you could follow through for this year and beyond. All right. Now, within that strategy, to answer your question, easy ways to create immediate tax savings. Here it is. I would start immediately with the retirement plan that you have. Consider what retirement plans you have, fully funding them if you have needs for more deductions this year. That's one. Most people already have a plan. Sometimes people need a different plan. Again, a lot of my clients will do what you call defined benefit plans. It allows them to put away multiple six figures, depending on their age, and sometimes seven figures if they're more advanced in age. All right. Retirement plans are the first place I would start. I would also consider buying assets that qualify under Section 179 or bonus depreciation. These are assets that you can buy now and fully depreciate this year. So the whole purchase is expensed. And again, lowers your potential tax liability. And then the other two, very easy to understand. If possible, try to delay your revenues and push some of them into next year. And then front some of your expenses. Again, if possible, if it makes sense, bring some of your expenses that you were thinking of booking next year and post them for this year. And that way, the combination of all four really positions you well for pretty good tax savings.
Why do so many entrepreneurs overpay taxes, and how do you stop it?
Lack of advice. You stop it by honestly, lack of good advice, I would say. Right? They are faced with, well, you had a great year, so be prepared to pay. No, a good advisor will be like, hey, let's sit down 3, 4 times a year and let's take a pulse. Because depending on where we are in the year and how your year's going, different strategies will present themselves that could really position you well. That's the first part, lack of a good advisor. Secondly, most people are not committed to a plan. Most people are focused on their business. They do very well with it, but without planning correctly, they're going to wind up paying a lot of their profits in higher than necessary taxes. Okay, so commitment is a big, big part. And then, it just really is along those things. Like we could talk about different strategies, but those strategies fall under these two big umbrellas. You get a good advisor and and commit to a plan.
What's one overlooked section in the tax code that reduces business taxes immediately?
So I'll give you one, 412E3. That is in the retirement plan section. It is where you'll find defined benefit plans. Again, some people can put away multiple six figures under that section. Section 179. That is something that's been in the tax code since 1958. You could buy certain assets that qualify under Section 179 and bonus depreciation, which you'll find under Section 168K, and you could fully depreciate those this year. All right. So that's a couple of sections in the tax code right there. There are things like under Section 7.9 that's been in the code for dozens and dozens, actually decades, which allows a business owner potentially large tax deductions, especially for C corps, and the money grows tax free. The money is pulled out tax free. Powerful stuff. Section 162, right? So executive bonuses. So these are areas where you could find large tax savings, and these are the sections in the tax code where you could find them.
What's the biggest mistake business owners make when trying to reduce their taxes?
Doing nothing, really. What I find is people just succumb to, well, I'm screwed. I had a great year, but I got to give half of it to the government. That's often what I'll run into until I start introducing different strategies and different ideas to them. People will wind up just, well, this is the tax code, it's over my head, and I'm just being given a bill every year that I've got to pay the IRS. That's very, very common and very sad, because it doesn't have to be that way.
All right. Go to rainstormmediagroup.com. Schedule a call with Micheal today.